everyone. Thank you for being here. I'm Big Cheds, and this is part of the long-form interview series on my YouTube channel at Cheds Trading. I try to bring in interesting people with something to share, educational value, great traders, great teachers, folks who've been in this game for a long time, and that's what this is all about. So it's a real treat and a real honor today to introduce our next contestant. It's going to be Mr. Follis. He's on Twitter, he's on Twitch, he's all over the place, he's incredibly active. So I'm really excited for today's interview. Just to let you folks know as well, make sure you check out my new Trading Encyclopedia playlist on my YouTube channel. I've created it just for you, 3-minute videos. Any topic, any subject you're searching for trading and technical analysis, that video should be there for you. But without further ado, let's get to our guest. I'm really excited for today. And folks, thank you to everybody for being here today. Thank you so much. All right, folks, here we are. Thank you for being here. My guest today, I'm really excited. It's Follis from Chroma Trading Group. And this is part of the long-form interview series. What's up, man? Thanks for showing up today. Thanks for being here.
Yo, what's up, Cheds? Thanks for having me. Really excited to do this.
Yeah. So my audience, maybe they know you, maybe they don't. Just as like an overview, are you a fundamental guy? You do technicals? Like, what's your deal? You know, what should people know about you?
Well, I'm a trader first and foremost. I would say that's my jam, rather than, maybe someone who focuses more on fundamentals or research or high time frame investment horizons, things like that. I'm a trader. I would say that I do a mix of intraday kind of scalping stuff and swing trading. I'm mostly a price action trader. I'm sure most of your viewers and listeners will know what that means, but for those that don't, it means that I pretty much focus on what the candles are doing, the structure of the candles, where the liquidity of those candles is. I don't really use many indicators, if any. It's really just focusing on what price is doing from candle to candle, and trying to trade based on that on that structure and what you get. I've been trading since 2021, so I'm actually a relatively new entrant to the space, certainly by the standards of some of the more OG guys. But yeah, I've been around since 2021. And similar story to most, my first year was spent losing various amounts of money in various different permutations. But thankfully kind of came out of that, with my tail between my legs in one way and kind of like licking my wounds. But also with, determinism and wanting to actually learn how to trade. I was the guy, when people talk about this cycle, when people talk about, can't wait till retail comes and we can sell our bags. I was literally that guy last cycle. I joined at the pico top.
Yeah.
I joined when BTC was like 60K, just about to push to an all-time high. And I was the guy buying everyone's Doge bags after it had gone 10,000x, and buying coins that like since then are just minus 90% from those 2021 highs. But yeah, 2022, I kind of taught myself how to trade. And yeah, kind of been trading fairly successfully since then. Like most traders who are doing all right now, I'm still working on things like consistency and, trying to be an eternal student as much as I can, because I think especially in crypto, because it's such a nascent market, so many things change day to day, week to week, month to month, that you really have to adapt to survive. And I think as soon as you stop that, you run the risk of just falling behind, getting out competed, out muscled. So that kind of brings us to where I am today. I'm also pretty active on social media. Maybe some of your viewers know I have a decently sized X account, maybe not quite the same size as yours, but hopefully someday. I also stream on Twitch 3 times a week. I do live trading, live charting, stuff like that. I have a YouTube account, TikTok account, and also a Discord community, which I think it's backwards for you guys because we couldn't figure out my camera mirroring. But it is, if you were to read that in a mirror, it would say Chroma Trading, and that's the Discord community that I've been running for the last few years. So yeah, that's kind of me in a nutshell.
Wow, so many questions. So is there like a big like trading community on Twitch? I mean, I know it's like mostly gaming and stuff. Like there are a lot of trading too, or what's the deal?
Yeah, so I think it's probably relatively niche. I remember like I got into Twitch because my younger brother is a Twitch streamer. He streams like video games and stuff like that.
What's he play?
He plays Warzone is like his big one. He used
Oh,
to play
okay.
like Fortnite and stuff, but he's like
All
he's
FPS and stuff, right?
yeah, he's like the
Yeah.
number 3 or 4 ranked player in the world. Like he's like
Wow.
really really good. Yeah.
Does
Um
he go to like LAN events and all that, or like
yeah,
LAN? Yeah.
he goes to like TwitchCon and stuff like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's
Okay.
and he gets invited to do really cool things. But
Nice.
he was like when I started trading and I started growing my social media, he was like, man, you need to stream some of what you're doing, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
It would be great content. And I was like, that's a good idea. So
Yeah.
yeah, I remember it was pretty early on, like, you know, I was kind of deciding whether I was going to be streaming in Discord or streaming
Yeah.
on YouTube, maybe as you do, or maybe stream on Twitch. And I just said, you know what, I'm going to give it a go on Twitch. There were some guys streaming on Twitch. Like I remember Trader Main was doing a bit of streaming on
Yeah.
Twitch.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, shout out Main, like one of my biggest inspirations.
Oh wow.
Guys like Trader Rigo. I don't know. Do you know him? He's
I don't want to like say I don't. And maybe I just don't remember if I know that. I know
yeah.
Main's my boy, but I don't know Rigo.
Yeah. He was doing some streaming on Twitch, and I was like, okay, like these guys, you know, I look up to them
Yeah.
in a big way. So I was like, maybe I'll give this a go. And yeah, it's way more. It's a smaller crypto community than YouTube, I think,
Yeah.
but that has drawbacks, obviously. But I think that it has a ton of pluses as well. Like, you know, your discoverability is probably better on Twitch just because it's a smaller pool of traders. So if you're trading crypto and someone on Twitch
Mhm.
has crypto as a registered interest, very often, like I think, you know, very often guys will come into my stream and say that I was the number one crypto streamer on their homepage on Twitch, which is like
Wow.
that's a pretty big deal, you know, for
Yeah.
discoverability and stuff like that. And just in terms of like, I don't want to bash YouTube. I love YouTube. I'm a YouTube partner. I
Yeah. Yeah.
put videos on YouTube all the time. I love
I'm gonna
YouTube. Don't
report
get me
you
wrong.
if you say anything bad about YouTube.
But YouTube is for video content. YouTube is for
Yeah.
posting videos. It is not
Yeah.
designed for streaming. And
Yeah.
if you've ever streamed on Twitch and YouTube for any
Mhm.
length of time,
Mhm.
you quickly realize that Twitch it's a beast that is designed for streaming, and it has
Yeah.
tons of functionality and customization options and
Mhm.
quality of life improvements and
Yeah.
so many. The list is just so long
Just
of
ways to
stuff.
interact with the chat room too, right? Like,
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So
yeah.
much better. Yeah. And you can set up things and you can get like, you know, channel point rewards going and
Yeah.
interactivity. And like, you really get
I
the
know what you
chat
mean.
buzzing and like engage with you. Whereas
Yeah.
YouTube, it's a little bit more like you can tell that they kind of back ended from it being a video content site
Yeah.
into like making it a streaming site as well. So, I mean, don't get me wrong, I love YouTube, but I think if you ever streamed on Twitch for like a month, you would probably
Mhm.
never go back.
So do you have like mods and stuff, or how does that work? Yeah.
Yeah, I have mods. I have a team of a small mod team.
Mhm.
And
Human or
there's a
bot?
human. Yeah,
Yeah, I'm just
there's
kidding.
a well, I mean, some people do.
Yeah.
Sometimes some people have like AI chat, like guys to get the chat moving there. Thankfully, my chat is pretty active
Oh,
anyway. But
I don't know
yeah,
about
like
that. Yeah.
yeah, I know it's a bit of a funny one.
Mm.
Like imagine you're in a Twitch chat with like, you know, 49 of them are real people, but like one guy is just an AI and he's just asking all this AI generated content
Oh my
questions.
gosh. Hello,
Yeah, I don't
sir.
know.
Is this how the charts move?
I
What? What
know.
is?
Yeah, man. It's like Twitter. It's, you know, it's like the
Yeah.
replies on Twitter. It would be terrible.
Yeah.
So I've thankfully not have to do anything like that. But
Hmm.
yeah, I mean, it's moderated chat. I mean, like I will say this, you know, about the Twitch community, man. It's so wholesome. I think it's different, and maybe you get this on YouTube as well. I think it's different when you're not just an anonymous profile picture on
Hmm.
on a screen like you are on Twitter. I think like
Yeah.
Twitter is a funny one, or X as it's now called.
Yeah.
Oh God, I sounded like such an old man there. Please don't
I know. Don't cancel you.
don't cancel me, Elon.
Yeah.
Um, but
Did you
like
ever do spaces, Follis? Did you ever do like spaces?
yeah, I do them regularly. Actually, there's one
Yeah.
I do with Scott Melker
Oh,
almost every
really?
week. Yeah,
Okay.
the crypto town hall is pretty good.
Oh,
Um,
nice.
big
That's
viewership.
real. Like you get to hear people's voices. Not to interrupt you, but I like spaces is human.
Yeah,
It's real. Like tweets. You can say you think someone's like trying to offend you or insult you when they're not. And so I like opportunities to just talk to people and like remind me we're just all humans having fun.
of course, man. And that's the thing. Like it's like so often you know, you're on social media and you're dealing with people from a variety of cultures, a variety of age demographics, a variety of like emotional intelligence levels, right?
Yeah, yeah,
A variety of ages, like some, you know,
it's crazy.
there's gonna be guys who are like 16, 17 that you're gonna be talking to. And it's like, I
Yeah,
don't know, it's so easy to misconstrue what's actually being said and so easy
yeah,
to take offense where none is meant. And I think it
yeah.
doesn't help that everyone's behind a keyboard and everyone's
Yep,
just, you know, we're all terminally online. I mean, it's not, you know,
I
there's no
know I
doubt
am,
about that.
brother.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But it's like, I don't know. I feel like people are so quick to go up in arms on social media sometimes. It's like just
Yeah.
take a step back, take a breath, and try and practice a little bit of empathy. But
Mhm,
to go back to the Twitch point, I mean, I
mhm.
think it's slightly different. Like I rarely encounter any like I mean, it's not even a fraction of the toxicity and negativity on Twitter. And I'm not
Yeah,
really, I'm not one of those guys who's like every day complaining about Twitter. And I like it is what it is, and you kind of just take it for what it is, right? You know what I
sure,
mean? You
sure.
kind of just approach it with you know, you kind of have to have like you kind of take it with a pinch of salt, you know, because uh, it is just a little bit like that. I mean, everyone knows what
Yeah.
it's like. I don't need to describe it.
Mhm.
But Twitch is so different, man. And I think it is because, you know, you're face talks and you're kind of engaging with people, as you
Yes.
said, on a human level, right?
Big time,
So
yeah.
it's like, you know, like guys in the street, right? Like
Mhm.
99% of the negative comments that you get on Twitter, like guys would never say that to your face in the
No, no,
street,
no.
right?
Under their breath, maybe.
Yeah, because it's like humans are humans, and like you know,
Yeah.
people get a lot of bravery when they're behind a keyboard. And I think
Yep.
that it's like Twitch
Mhm.
is like halfway to that because like they're seeing your
Hmm.
face and they're like,
Mhm.
oh, okay, this guy, you know, this guy is a real person.
Well, and you
Maybe
set the
I
right
won't.
vibe too. You set the
Yeah,
tone, you set the vibe, and people wanna be there. I mean, if they don't wanna be there, they're gonna go something else. So the people who are
sure.
in Twitch wanna see you, and that helps too.
Yeah, yeah, but I mean, it's remarkably wholesome. It's
Mhm.
been such an unexpectedly massive part of like my life over the last 3 years,
It's
like
awesome.
streaming to two,
Yeah.
three, 400 people 3 times a
It's
week. And
crazy, right? Isn't it crazy? You hit a couple buttons, and you could just talk to people around the world, and it's a thrill, man, I'll tell you.
yeah, it is. It is. Yeah, I mean, that's the beauty of the age of the kind of technological age we live in. And that's another thing
Yeah.
about trading is like for as long as trading has been a thing, as long as modern finance has been a thing,
Mhm.
it's always been an incredibly gate kept profession, right? You
Yeah.
look at like the traditional media image of like Wall Street in the 80s, and it's like to
Mm.
actually be those Gordon Gekko,
Right.
Bud Fox types,
I was gonna say.
you needed to like go to like a great school, you needed
Yeah.
to like get into college, you needed to get like a degree in finance, you needed to like
I
interview for like
know.
an investment bank, like one of the most like
Intern over the summer,
yeah, it,
all that
like
stuff,
work. Yeah,
yeah.
you need to work long hours. I mean, it was just incredibly competitive. Now it's
Yeah.
like it's no joke to say that you can make millions on your phone with just
Mhm.
internet access
Yeah,
and
from
the
the
right
toilet,
amount of
from the
yeah, yeah,
toilet.
exactly, just the right amount of application. I'm not saying that it's easy. Actually, I'm
Yeah,
saying far from it. But the
sure.
door is now open to guys who have that diligence, application,
Mhm.
perseverance. Whereas before, it might have been closed for a variety of reasons.
So let's pull that thread a little bit. You talked about your style, and I definitely wanna see your charts later, but we don't have to rush that. You're being like a pure price style, right? And so how did you come to that, having started in 2021? Like, I know you mentioned Maine, not just influences, but how did you get to that style, and how did you, level up your skills essentially?
That's a great question. So I would say the first like 8 to 10 months that I was trading. In fact, I can probably pin that down to exactly 8 months because I started trading at the start of 2021 and I went the whole like Q1, Q2, Q3 just fumbling. It was just like one fumble into
Yeah,
another. I
yeah.
would like, I'd be like, one week I'd be like, okay, I'm the GAN fan guy. I'm gonna be pulling GAN fans
Oh my
everywhere.
goodness.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna
I kn
be, yeah,
okay.
that's what I'm. Then the next week I was like, oh, what's this Elliott wave theory? Okay,
Yeah.
I'm the Elliott wave guy.
That's
I'm the
it.
EW master, you know. And then
Yeah.
the next week it'd be something else. It'd be Wickoff, and then the week after that it'd be something else, you know. And there was
Ichimoku or
always
whatever,
yeah,
yeah.
Ichimoku cloud. There was always something to occupy my attention and to pull me
Mhm.
away from
You were
the
looking
thing
for a
that I had
silver
been.
bullet, right? Like a
Yeah,
silver bullet.
exactly. Or just something that resonated. I don't even think that I was looking for like the one size fits all or like the golden ticket or anything. It was just
Yeah.
something that resonated with me, which I didn't really find. And I mean, looking back on it, it's hard to say that it was time wasted because it was all kind of working towards a goal, but it was very much like I was kind of feeling around in the dark to try and find my way,
Yeah.
to the cave entrance kind of a thing. So it was a
Sure.
little bit, inefficient. I'll put it that way. It was inefficient, and that all changed. I know I touched on it already. Maine knows this story, so he won't mind me glazing him for like the 100th time. But yeah, it all changed basically like end of 2021. Didn't really know who Maine was at the time. Saw him streaming on Twitch or YouTube. I can't even remember now. And he was
Mhm.
talking about price action. He was talking about, actually at the
Yeah.
time, he was talking about this guy who I'd never heard of, ICT and ICT methodology, which was all based on, it was based on structure. It was based on structural reversals. It was based on balance and imbalance. It was based on
Mm.
liquidity getting taken. It was based
Mm.
on, order blocks, supply demand getting mitigated. He was talking about breaker blocks. He was talking about order blocks. He was talking about fair value gaps. And just something clicked in my brain. I went, wow, there was
Mm.
no indicators on his chart. Like no indicators, no complicated, like, oh yeah, when the red ribbon goes below the blue
I
band, then
hate that stuff.
it was like, it was so intuitive. It was like, no, when the candles go down here, you do this thing and your
Hmm.
invalidation is here and you target here. And it was so intuitive to me. And so it made so much sense. I was like, yeah, okay, this is the way I want to trade now. And after that, I threw all my my proverbial Wyckoff books out the window and really delved into price action. And kind of that's the way it's been ever since. Now, I would say that like my style since then to now has evolved in a massive way to the
Hmm.
point where actually I would say that I'm like at the start I was just copying Maine, but now
Yeah.
our styles are very, very different, and he'd be the first one to admit that as well. And likewise, my style is very different from ICT. I think
Hmm.
who was the guy that Maine was drawing from. I think
Sure.
that's a beautiful thing as well. Is that like if you say that like Maine was kind of influenced by ICT, and in turn that
Hmm.
I was influenced by Maine, it's kind of a nice
Yeah.
thing that everyone you pick up the kind of the broad strokes approach to a trading discipline, but
Hmm.
then just through natural circumstances you add your own flair to it because everyone has a different mindset, mentality, risk tolerances.
Hmm. Yeah.
Everyone's different with how they approach the charts, and it doesn't matter. You can one-to-one copy someone, but you're never really going to trade the exact same as them because everyone's different. And that's one of the beautiful things about trading as well, is like it's such an introspective thing, and it's so
Mm.
deeply reflective of like who you are on the inside.
Hmm.
Like my background, I probably should have said it, but it just seems such a distant thing now. Like I'm actually a qualified lawyer, so I went to law school for like 10 years.
What area of law?
Investment law. So in
Okay.
a weird parallel universe way, like on the other side of the wall to some of
Interesting.
the stuff that I kind of do now. Never crypto though, but like yeah,
Hmm.
like big investment funds. We did a lot of work for like entities in like Cayman Islands, BVI, Hong Kong, stuff like that. Um, but when you're like in law, like I feel like 10 law students go to law school and they come out and then you get 10 lawyers and they'll all do like largely the same job. And
Hmm.
it's kind of like, I don't know, there's an element of like paring down your individuality to
Hmm.
an extent when you're in a profession like that. And
Hmm.
maybe that's the same for a lot of other professions. Maybe I'm just describing
Yeah.
corporate life in a very real way. But with trading, it's remarkable. It almost seems like it's the opposite. There's so much
Hmm.
capacity, and it's almost inevitable that
Hmm.
when you start trading, that you will just add so much of yourself into the process that you undertake day in, day out, to the point where I would say that almost anyone after they've been trading for a couple of years is just going to be they're going to be doing their own thing irrespective of where they started or where their goals were to begin with.
So do you I feel this way. I wonder if you do. I mean, there's no one style to trade. Like there's when you teach your people, you're teaching them your method, but they may be LA wave traders, and that's okay. You're just kind of teaching them what you know best and what works for you, right?
100%, yeah. And that's another thing that I deeply dislike in this space, is this like tribalism or this
Yes.
tribalistic mentality, like my
Hmm.
way is the best and anyone not
Yeah.
doing it is LARPing. And it
Yeah.
kind of like, it's like a deeper thing in society, and that's another conversation for another day maybe,
Hmm. Hmm.
where it's just like it's us versus them. It's the thing
Yeah.
that I'm doing is correct and the thing that anyone else is doing is not correct. And it's
Well,
like,
let's pull on that though. Isn't it PvP though a little bit too, right? Like you talk about you at 2021, like you were the other side of that PvP, right?
exactly. And that's you've really hit the nail on the head there, because I think so much of trading starts with that. And people kind of like, when people extrapolate from that, they go, "Oh no, it's me against everyone. I'm completely on my own here. I'm trading my own books." And it
Yeah.
almost like,
Yeah.
it's why like people are always like, "Oh, crypto." You know, like I talked to someone this morning for an hour, and at the end of our conversation, it was a prospective business partner.
Hmm.
He said, "Man, Follis, it's so good to talk to someone else who's like a really good guy. Like I can tell that you're a high integrity guy. It's so good because it's rare in the crypto space." And I was just
Mm.
thinking, like, why is that rare? Because people are mostly good, right? Why is it rare in the space to talk to someone that you come away from the conversation and go, "Ah, that guy's a good guy." And I think it's because like trading. Don't get me wrong. Everyone is in trading to make money. I'm not this like naive.
Yeah.
White knight above my, like atop my golden stallion, looking down on anyone who's trying to make money, because that's what we're all here to do, right?
Yeah.
So I'm not trying to take some moral high ground, but I also think that like, because people start from that place
Hmm.
where they're like, I'm getting into trading to make money, I'm getting into crypto to
Yeah.
make money. Sometimes you can almost become like mono focused, right? With where that's the thing that you're going for, and it almost comes at the expense of everything else, including like ethics and morals. Now, I'm not
Mm.
blanketing anyone there, but I
Hmm.
think for sure I see some guys with this attitude of like win at all costs.
You can
And
name names. It's just me and you. You can name names.
but it's like, I don't know, for me, like I would never abandon the things that make me me. I would never
Hmm.
abandon, like, the way my mom raised me to be, to make a quick buck. Like that's just not who I am, or what I stand for. And there's plenty of other guys in the space like that, but I almost think that some people are, you're almost tempted to focus on making money at the exclusion of all else, which is a very, I'm not even
Mm.
saying it's a bad thing. It's not even a criticism, really more an observation, where it's
Hmm.
like, because we come, because the starting point is get into crypto to get rich. Some
Yeah.
people take that as like the ultimate end goal, where it's like, no, 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 it doesn't matter about being a good person, it doesn't matter about trying to do good in the world, it doesn't matter
Right.
about trying to add value to anyone else's life. No, I'm in it to get mine, and that's it. And that's a funny thing, because I don't think that other professions are necessarily like that.
Right.
Like my mom's a teacher, my dad was an engineer when he was
Hmm.
alive, and like, it's like teaching kids, building bridges, there's a very, and they were like, my dad was always a very, very good guy, just a very, very high integrity guy. My mom, bless her, is very much the same. So it's
Yeah.
like, and I think like there's no way that if they got into like a finance job, that they would
Hmm.
be like, oh no, and I'm I'm in here to max extract. So I think
Yeah.
there's like, it's a funny one, because finance and crypto almost sets you up for that. And you touched on it, you said the PvP thing, right?
Hmm.
And that's another one where it's like, you enter crypto and you're taught from very early on that like, it's you're trading against everyone else. It's you against,
Yeah.
you're up against the algos, the
That's it.
bots, the quants. Like it's you
Yeah.
against the world. You got to
Hmm.
trade your own book, you got to focus, you got to manage your own. And it's like, yeah, that's true, don't get me wrong, but some guys, then again, we go back to extrapolation. Some guys extrapolate that and say, no, I'm a lone wolf, I'm in it, it's just me against everyone else. I'm not
Mm.
going to join a community, I'm not going to have friends,
Hmm.
it's just me against everyone else. And then like, those guys might join a community, or like get some friends in crypto like years down the line. They're like, holy shit, why didn't I do this before?
Yeah.
Because it's like a, they just having guys that you can bounce ideas off of.
Yes.
It's like a cheat code for progress, right? I mean, my biggest advance in my early trading career
Hmm.
was joining a group of like, there was like a small group of us in Discord, like 20, 30 guys, but they were all better traders than I was. I was the
Mm.
worst in that group, but I was able to ask a ton of questions. I
Right.
was the annoying guy asking all the questions, and like, ask, hey, why did you draw that line on that chart? Hey, why did you draw that order block there? Hey, what are you looking
Yeah.
for here exactly? And
Yeah.
through a process of kind of asking questions and getting answers, then you get
Hmm.
better. But that wouldn't have come if I was the guy who said, "Nah, I'm doing this on my own. This is a lonely
Right.
road, and I walk it alone." It's like, I don't know. I understand that everyone trades their own books, but
Yeah.
that doesn't mean you need to be the lone wolf doing everything on your own.
Yeah, I think communities are important. I think there's a lot of value in bouncing ideas off other people. And they say if you're the smartest person in the room, go find another room. If you're the best trader in the room, maybe you should be in another room. Do you think there's danger in people copy trading and, being in a Discord and seeing someone just say, buy here and they buy? How do you feel about that? Does that help them learn? Is there danger in that approach?
Great question. Definitely danger. Something that I like, I no secret, I run a private group, a paid group, and we
Hmm.
share trades. We share every day we're
Chroma.
sharing, yeah, Chroma trading, exactly.
Okay.
Every day we're sharing 10, 15, 20 trades. Like there's some weeks where we trade where we share, 100, 150, 200 setups with our
Hmm.
members. Um, but I always try and stress that like we're just sharing the trades that we're taking ourselves. Now I know it's
Yeah.
a little bit of a gray area because when you
Hmm.
share a trade, guys are going to take it with you,
Yeah.
right?
Oh, yeah.
But I do think that there is a difference between what we're doing and, let's say, just setting up like a copy trade account where you're literally trading with other people's money. I think
Yeah.
there is a line that you can draw where you're just trying to say like we're sharing the setups. Like what I encourage you to do, what I really encourage you guys to do, instead of just doing the entry TPSL and just bam 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 and just copy trading without giving it any thought, try and see what we're doing on our charts, apply them to your own charts, and make a call for yourself. Is this a trade that I would take myself? And that only comes with time and experience, right? It's the age old mantra where you're trying to teach someone how to fish, right? You're trying to give them a
Hmm.
fishing
Yeah.
rod and teach them how to fish rather than just giving them the leftover cod from your catch, right? Or whatever. I
Right. It
don't
could
know.
be tasty though. Maybe it's tasty. You
Yeah,
never know.
yeah. I probably fudged that analogy in a big way, but I'm sure you understand what I'm trying to
Yeah,
say.
absolutely.
And
I
it's
want, go ahead. Go ahead.
sorry.
Go
Well, I was just going to say that the copy trading thing is one that I do have thoughts on because
ahead. Hmm.
like you get to, I'm sure you've been asked as well by a variety of exchanges, but like you get to a certain size and people start saying, well, when you want to do copy trading, hey, we'll give you
Yeah.
we'll, we'll give you a 20K a month if you do copy trading. If you offer copy trading to your members, we'll get you,
Right.
there'll be 500 guys on your link in a
Yeah.
month, we'll get you. And I just
Yeah.
think there's a line beyond which you have to start asking yourself the ethical question of what, like, I fuck up regularly. Like there's a
Hmm.
minimum once a week I have a fuck up that I go, oh like it really
Yeah.
like it's right here and I go, why did I do that? Why did I
Hmm.
close that long early? Why did I
Yeah.
TP there? Why did I move my stop loss? That was so idiotic. Why did I double down on that? There's so many things. Like, why did I enter there? Wasn't I patient? Right, minimum once a week. That's happening all the time. I think at a certain point you just get used to it, right? That's just being a
Hmm.
trader.
Yeah.
Um, and I lose money. I lose money all the time, man. That's part of the process of being a profitable trader. Is you're going to have a certain amount of losses every week, every month, every quarter. That's all well and good when it's my own money. That's completely fine. I do not. That is just part and parcel of being a trader. When it's other people's money, I think there is a big difference there. It completely changes the dynamic of not only what you're actually doing, but also your process when it comes to doing it, right?
Hmm.
Like let's say you're trading and if you take a stop on that trade, you're gonna lose a few, you're gonna use like 10 grand of someone else's money. It's like,
Oof.
is that not gonna affect your trading psychology in a huge way? I mean, how like trading
Yeah.
psychology is like fine margins, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
the smallest thing can put you off. And I mean, that's not a small thing. Maybe for
Yeah.
some people it is, but vast majority of us, that's a big kind of sword of Damocles hanging over our head.
Hmm.
Um, so there's kind of a question you have to ask yourself there, like
Hmm.
am I can I do this? Can I do this ethically? Can I do this responsibly?
Yeah.
And to be honest, like I mean, the answer is for me, and I think actually the vast majority of traders is no. There are guys who do it out there. They do a great job. Don't get me wrong. But
Yeah.
I know if I was entering a trade, if I was scanning the charts looking for trades, and I was entering a trade, and I knew, okay, if I get stopped out here, I'm losing 30 G's of there's like 50 guys on my link and I'm losing their money
Yeah.
too. I don't know. I think that would cause me to trade differently and manage my risk differently. And at that
Mhm.
point, you have to ask yourself, like, should I be offering this service?
That's a great point. It's the whole idea also, with, everyone says like play with money, you can afford to lose. I mean, nobody can really afford to lose, a certain amount of money, but if it's your rent money, you're not going to be able to execute your strategy properly. So, I think you're touching a lot on how to emotionally manage your trades and your money and the ethics and like what else do you do to maintain your ethics, because the cesspool that we exist in on crypto Twitter. There's people who have no problem dumping on their feed, start a new account, delete a new account. I mean, it's rough out there, which is why if you're a steady, reliable guy, you can kind of do okay. What do you do to maintain your ethics amidst this kind of a dicey environment?
I mean, like, so I don't think for me it's ever been a case of having to maintain anything. That's just kind of the way I am. Like,
Yeah,
it's like, I don't know. It's just the way I am. It's the way I'm kind of I'm wired. Now, like, again, I want to stress, like, I'm not some kind of like paragon of virtue. Giving away everything I make to charity kind of guy. Like, I understand we're all here to make money. I love making money. I want, and I also like I also I disagree when people see like guys like monetizing their social medias or like
yeah,
is partnering with exchanges or whatever it is, like ref link in their bio, like guys are like, oh, he's a scammer. What, it's like,
yeah.
no, man, he's just like
He
growing a
just wants to
social.
get paid, bro, right?
Yeah, growing a social media is like hard
Yeah.
work. It's
It's a
like
lot of work. Yeah.
a
So let
lot
me
of
ask
work.
you this. That's what I wanted to ask you, and I'm jumping around here.
That's
How do
fine.
you maintain your balance? Because you're so prolific. You're on all these streams. You're trading. You're teaching. How do you not let your trades own you at night? How do you not let your work kind of take over? How are you maintaining your balance? I think that's a big challenge for someone in your position.
I'm probably the worst person to ask about balance. You're literally talking to me as I am on 3 hours sleep. I went to bed at 8 a.m. last night because I was working all night.
Yeah.
Thankfully, I'm in a position where, uh, like, I live with my beautiful girlfriend, but she also works
Uh-huh.
with me full time. So,
Okay.
yeah, she's like
Like
my,
in your Chroma and stuff like that in your
yeah,
group
my manager slash assistant slash everything.
slash
So she,
girlfriend.
yeah, slash girlfriend. Yeah, that's like third one
Yeah.
down. But yeah,
Yeah.
no,
Yeah. Yeah.
she understands the grind. I think it would be
Okay.
very different if I was living and trying to create a life with someone who didn't get it.
Yeah.
And like
Yeah.
my family are super understanding, my friends are super supportive. Like
Good.
again, like I was a lawyer. I went to law school for almost 10 years, and
Wow.
I you know I went I did my bachelor's, I did my master's, I
Mhm.
interned, I was a paralegal, I was a trainee, and eventually I qualified, right? And I practiced for a year and I hated it, so I
Ah,
stopped. So
wow.
it's like for me, there was a huge thing where like I was making this leap of faith from my previous career into this new career. And like you're trying to explain it to my mom. I was like, yeah, no, they're like
Yeah.
completely digital currencies. Yeah, and it's like, yeah, they exist on the internet, and
Yeah.
yeah, there's this one. It's based on a dog. It's called Dogecoin. Look,
That's
here's the
hilarious.
picture of it. And
Yeah.
she's like, wait, like you know how much we paid for law school,
Yeah, I know, right?
and you're like, yeah,
Sorry,
but
mom.
like, but look at the dog on the coin.
So how did you even get like intro to crypto to begin with? Like what was your like original origin story there?
Do you want to hear something crazy? So my
Yeah.
original origin story, like to go even further back,
Yeah.
I did my dissertation in London for my master's in, oh, it has a wordy title, in international financial law. That was my master's, and I did it. I did my dissertation on digital currency regulation, which
No
was,
kidding.
yeah, that was in 2013. Like
No
Bitcoin,
kidding.
it was like Bitcoin was the only cryptocurrency, and like e-gold. People were still talking about like digital currencies that existed pre-crypto. I can't remember.
I see, I
E-gold is the
see.
only one that. So I did my dissertation on Bitcoin basically when Bitcoin was trading at like $1,000, and I bought
Wow.
zero.
Of
I
course, of
I
course.
bought none of it. I was like, oh, this thing's going to fucking
Many
zero.
such stories, right? Many such stories.
But then, yeah, no like interaction with crypto then for basically 8 years after that, and that kind of brought us up to like COVID, when like
Hmm.
my best friend got into stocks trading. So he
Hmm.
was like, it was like COVID, everything was shut down. He was at home. We were all at home because everything was locked down. And he was like, yeah, man, I set up like an eToro account. I started trading stocks. You should check it out, man. There's like these penny
Right.
stocks. They go like, 2x overnight. And you
When was
can,
this? When were you trading pennies?
this was in like January. So this is like the very start of 2021. This is like January, February
Okay.
2021.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I got set up. He set me up with an account. I think it was so funny looking back in it. I put like 600 euro on, and I
Hmm.
remember the 600 euro went down to 400 euro, and I was like sweating and panicking.
Oh my gosh, of
I was like,
course, yeah.
how did I lose like
Oh my
200
God.
euro? Like,
It's a
oh my
terrible
God.
feeling. It's a
It
terrible feeling
really
because you
is. Like, I
feel
was like,
like, yeah.
how did I do this? Like, yeah,
Oh my
sorry, go on.
God.
You feel like what?
No, you just feel like you're a complete failure.
Yeah.
Because, like, you're good at stuff in life, right? Whatever your hobbies are, whatever your skills, and you try something new, and to fail like that, you almost have like I feel like you almost have an existential crisis in that moment. Like, whoa, especially after 10 years of law school.
Yeah, it's like a ego thing, right? And I
Yeah,
think
yeah,
that's another part of trading, I think, is like ego death and kind of experiencing that for the
yeah.
for the first time and getting
Mm.
used to that feeling.
Have you done
Because like
mushrooms?
I have actually, yeah,
Okay,
many
because that's
times.
ego death. That's why I asked. I mean, that's one of the psilocybin. It's one of the main.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, no, a
Good.
good few times. Yeah,
All right, you can
one of
stay. You can stay. You can stay.
one of the experiences that yeah, I would recommend to a lot of people, but maybe a
Mhm.
conversation for another day.
Sure, sure. Next time, yeah.
um but it's like trading, even the best traders are wrong a lot.
Yeah, oh,
And
for
I
sure,
think
for
that
sure.
that's something that people struggle with when they
They
get
don't know
into
that.
trading. Yeah.
People think like you should be hit like 70% like success rate. I mean, that's ridiculous.
They think that good trading is about being right all the time, which
Yeah.
is a fundamental
Mm-mm.
misinterpretation of what good trading is about, right? And it's a
Yeah, yeah,
misunderstanding of the principles of profitability,
yeah.
right? Good
True.
trading is about taking risk-adjusted bets
Mm-hmm.
on being right versus being wrong, right? And
Mm-hmm.
managing the times where you're wrong so
Mm-hmm.
they don't sting as much as the times that you're right. Feed your trading account basically.
So let's
And
parlay that into some TA, brother. I'd love to bring up your screen, and I have a couple of things I wanted to ask you about, but I'll kind of let you, take the stage, so to speak. But I had in my notes to ask you about VWAP, doing the Lord's
okay.
work, and also wanted to ask you about the New York Open, your 30-minute first 30-minute theory. But why don't you just kind of take the floor, talk about whatever you want, and I'm sure my audience would love to kind of get a sense of your style.
Okay, well, yeah, you know what? Actually, I'm just gonna do this because this might be the one of the cleanest ways to talk about my style. This is a schematic that I drew on stream yesterday for my viewers, and it's just a really clean like example of like the style of trading that I do. So
A
this is
unicorn?
called this is called the unicorn setup because it
Okay.
happens rarely. That's why I drew the
Yep.
emoji. But yeah, just to give you kind of like an example of the price action that I look for. So like
Hmm.
this would be a fairly standard schematic in price action trading, right? You
Hmm.
have downtrending price action, right? Which just means you're getting lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, right? So
Hmm.
this is basic structural TA, right? This is a
Hmm.
downtrend, right?
Hmm.
There's nothing, I mean, anyone with half a brain can tell that,
Hmm.
right? And then the structure shift, this break of structure happens when these order blocks are no longer respected, right? So order blocks is just supply and demand, right? So you have
Hmm.
supply and demand here. Basically, these are supply areas
Yeah.
feeding the move to the downside. Then that flips. No longer is supply being respected, and you get a move up here, which
Hmm.
usually leaves an imbalance, right? And this is what we call a fair value gap, because this is effectively a price imbalance. Price will look
The
to
area in
fill.
between ranges, so to speak.
Exactly. Yeah, the area between price action clusters is another way. And you get
Mhm,
another maybe low time frame range here, building some liquidity. We call these induced lows to the downside.
mhm,
You get a
sweep.
sweep of those, and
Yeah,
then a move up. And when you
love it.
tag when you sweep this level, not
Mhm.
only do you tag this imbalance, but you also, very key part here is you also retest the level that got disrespected before.
Yeah.
That's just like a very standard thing that I look for. And hopefully that kind of illustrates. I know that that was probably a lot. If someone doesn't know what price action is, I've probably just thrown them into the deep end there. But effectively, you can kind of break that down where it's like price action trading is
Mhm.
just about looking at structure, and it's looking about when structure reverses, and then
Mhm.
it's looking, when you combine all that, you're looking at things like ranges, and then when price breaks out of the range, you're looking for, trending PA, and in trending PA you're looking for things like this, you're looking for retests of key levels,
Yeah,
boom,
stair stepping,
boom,
yeah.
stair stepping. It's just
Yeah.
like there's so many very intuitive principles when it comes to price action trading, and it's why I love it, really. And you'll notice here that there's no indicators. Like, you can draw this without any indicators. There's no You don't have to access your Ichimoku clouds. You don't have to
Mhm.
pull your GAN fan or anything like that. You're
Yeah.
basically just looking for the candlesticks. You're looking for structure. You're looking for liquidity. You're looking for balance, and that's effectively it. And that's the way that I have kind of that's the way that I've been learning to trade, because I'm not even going to say that I have learned to trade. I'm still learning
No.
every day.
Me too, me
Um,
too.
yeah, for the last few years.
Alright, so it looks like it's a lot of it's based in simple supply and demand, horizontal levels, broken resistance becomes support, looking for failed breakdowns, momentum like that. Um, do you use, like, volume? I see candlesticks. Do you use the volume at all, or I know you use order books, but
Yeah, so I look at volume from time to time. The volume that I pull mostly, and maybe we can. In fact, you know what? The best
Mhm.
example is this chart here. The volume that I look at mostly is volume profile. So this is like
Mm.
effectively like horizontal volume. So this is another. I mentioned that price action trading was the first discipline that I kind of really sunk my teeth into and kind of got to some level of, I'm not even going to say anything close to mastery, but some level of adequacy. But
Yeah.
the beautiful thing about that was, kind of, once I got to the point where I was comfortable trading price action, I was able to add some things, some additional feathers to my hat. One of
Mhm.
those first ones was, I've written it here, is auction market theory. And
I thought it said
auction,
Austrian market theory. I was like, "Oh, that sounds fascinating."
yeah, like the Austrian School of Economics or something like
Yeah,
that. No, not
yeah.
not quite as fancy as that. This is
Okay.
auction market theory, which is effectively, this is just the theory that all markets are glorified auction houses where buyers and
Mm.
sellers meet to agree on fair value for the asset being traded. That's
Sure.
all they are, right?
Right, right,
So
right.
every time you look at a chart, every time you look at BTC's price action, you're
Mhm.
just looking at buyers and sellers agreeing on what the consensus fair value
Yeah.
price is, right? So when you the that might seem like a separate point to what I'm about to say, but it'll all come together at the end, right?
Mhm.
Volume profiles are basically just like horizontal
Yeah.
representations
Price
of
by volume.
how much volume has been traded in whatever delineation of price that you want. I like to pull them on ranges because
Yeah.
I'm a range bound trader first and foremost.
Yeah.
Ranges give really clean rules, right? If
Yeah,
anyone
yeah.
out there struggling to trade, um,
Right here.
if anyone is struggling to I don't know, to find clean setups when
Yeah.
price is trending or price is breaking to the upside and then then nuking, as we're kind of seeing that now. Like, I would say, you know, the last, I mean, look at this. This is not a range, right? This is very clearly, this is a trend followed by a trend. But
Mhm.
I'll come back to that in a second.
Yeah.
Range bound price action is very clean
Mhm.
because it has extremely obvious setups and very obvious invalidations as well. So
Right,
let's say,
like when a low is swept and recaptured, like, that's where you
exactly,
mark your risk.
exactly, yeah, and it's very easy to, the biases in range bound trading are typically quite easy. You
Mhm.
effectively wait for price action to develop at the range extremes and then
Mhm.
look for mean reversion, right?
Yeah.
When you draw a volume profile like this, you will also be able to get, this is just the standard volume profile tool on TradingView. The
Okay.
first standard deviation of volume in this profile, it's like the top 68% or something like that. It's
Mhm.
called the value area, right? So talking back to our auction market theory, all the charts are just auction houses, right?
Mhm.
This is where buyers and sellers have agreed that this asset is fairly valued, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
we can
totally.
extrapolate from that up here it is overvalued and
Yeah.
down here it is undervalued, right?
Mhm,
This is
mhm.
just basic range bound trading principles, all right?
Sure, sure, sure.
So when we take these into account, we can say that this is where you should be looking for longs because the asset is
Yeah.
undervalued, just as this is where you should be looking for shorts, right? Now that has worked so well for me in the past. Like you can even look at the big range we had last year. Oh yeah, I kind of have a
Oh,
little
there you go.
drawing here where it was like everyone was getting chopped up and destroyed because
Yeah,
BTC was doing this for 6 months, when in
yeah.
fact it was just very clean range bound price action
Mhm,
where you had glorious shorting opportunities every time price touched the top of the value area, just
mhm,
as you had amazing long opportunities every time price touched the bottom of the value area. And the
mhm.
beautiful thing about this is you're going to be right 10 times. And then once you're
Yeah,
wrong. That's it. And then price trends out of your range and you
yeah.
stop looking for range bound trades. That's it. That's the way it is. So like applying those principles here, what we can say each time price comes to the value area extremes here, we have what's called a failed auction, which is that buyers here are trying to auction the price higher. They think that BTC is still undervalued here. They want to push it higher, right?
Mhm,
But they have
mhm.
failed. They have failed here. They have failed here. Just as the sellers here were trying to push it lower. They said that it was still overvalued. They wanted to push it lower, but they failed. They failed. So
Yeah.
that's why price mean reverted here. And here we have the opposite. Let's say the start of the month here, we had buyers push price up. The retest was successful, and higher it went. This was a successful auction, right? I'll make this
Yeah.
even brighter. And this is auction market theory. This is auction market theory 101. It is all the marketplace is just an auction house, and buyers and sellers are just trying to auction price higher or lower. They're trying to agree on consensus fair value. It is like it's volume based range bound trading is how I would describe it. And that's one of the main things that I look for in price action, and one of the main things that I kind of trade off.
Can you walk me through VWAP too? I saw a
Yes,
tweet I thought was really interesting and could be educational.
I can do. Yeah. So I said that I am mostly a price action trader. In fact, I'm
Mhm.
almost exclusively a price action trader. The one indicator that I do use quite frequently is daily VWAP. Uh, and the reason why is it's just a very high probability indicator. Effectively, you can just treat this as
Follis, for those who don't know, what is VWAP? It's
VWAP is volume weighted average price, I
okay.
believe.
Correct. Yeah, yeah.
It is just a dynamic support or resistance band that represents it's the average. I'm not sure what the exact definition is. It's some kind of average price when you take volume into account
Sure, sure, sure.
on each candle. So
Right.
it effectively it just acts as like basically like a moving average, right?
Sure, sure.
And the daily VWAP is just that. It is the VWAP from daily open to daily close. In my experience, this is one of the best intraday indicators because of how high probability is.
Mm,
And I think that the
okay.
tweet you're referencing
Yeah,
is
you said Lord's
probably
work. It was doing Lord's work.
yeah. It was just like so very often when price starts, I mentioned range bound trading versus trending trading.
Mhm.
When price is trending, you need to adapt the way that you look at the charts, the way you execute your trades, because the market conditions, and it seems like an obvious thing to say, right? The
Yeah,
markets are different when they range as distinct from when they trend. But I'm
yeah.
telling you, man, so many traders I know still they treat ranges as trends and they treat trends as ranges,
Mm.
and
Mhm.
they get wrecked because of it. Like how many guys, if I can just make a slide, how many guys when price was where's the range gone? Yeah, how many guys last year when BTC was range bound, how many
Yikes.
guys assumed that this was a new trend? Oh, we're going to go
Mhm.
down to oh no,
Yeah,
actually wait. Oh no, wait, actually this is it boys. Easy mode is back. I cannot tell you how many times
yeah.
I should have written it down, man. Every single time price
Yeah.
traded up into the 70K level, the
Hmm.
same guys came out on Twitter, said, easy mode is here, boys. We're going to
Yeah.
make so much money over the next few months. It's
Yeah.
up only conditions here. Long your longs, buy every pullback you can. And inevitably, each one of those times got full. Eventually, Trump got elected and sent us higher.
Yeah.
But it's like these
It
guys were
was in the
trading.
charts, brother. It was in the charts.
Exactly. These guys were trading this range like a trend, which is not what you what you should be doing.
Yeah.
Likewise, I know plenty of range maxis who, as soon as we started pushing up here, they were shorting every time we hit resistance.
Oof.
Like, oh, this is it, this is it,
Yeah.
this is it. And it's like, no, at that point, you really have to just put your range goggles aside and recognize that we're in an incredibly strong uptrend, right? And it's the same can be applied on low time frame, right? You need to recognize when the trend has stopped and, or sorry, when the range has stopped and when the
Hmm.
trend has started. So when the trend starts, I am, by the way, I would say that I'm a fairly competent range trader.
Hmm.
Trends catch me off guard, and I very often
Okay.
just stand back and let the price action unfold and
Yeah.
watch from the sidelines. Unfortunately, it's just the way I've learned to trade and the way I feel comfortable trading. But one of the things you can do when price is trending is just look for these VWAP retests. A
Hmm.
lot of the time, for whatever reason, when price when you get a trending day on BTC or whatever, this VWAP support band, right, can be a resistance band if we're going
Hmm.
down, just
Yeah.
acts as like incredible support. And this is like actually ridiculous. We had 48 hours basically where every retest of VWAP got bought back up. Even here towards the tail end of the move, we
Hmm.
had just every bounce. And the flip side of that, and this is also extremely instructive, is
Hmm.
that once we broke down below VWAP with decent
Mm.
amount of volume,
Yeah.
at that point you should have been TPing your longs and stopped looking for longs until we reclaimed daily VWAP. You see here, this is almost like a retest. Kind of had another retest here, you know. And I like, even just on CPI news just now, another retest here.
Oh, we're at
Even
116. I didn't even notice.
yeah, even on CPI news just now, we broke above it very briefly, but
Yep.
no stay. There was no acceptance and broke back down below it now. So
Hmm.
yeah, for me, it's like I would never trade off VWAP exclusively,
Hmm.
but I pull it. I use it as additional confluence, for my price action trading. I think that
Hmm.
it's something that I think there's a lot of indicators out there that are, I don't know. I don't see the
Clumsy.
utility. I don't see the utility in them. I don't
Yeah.
necessarily. I think that guys who claim that they work are adjusting to
Selection
fit their bias.
bias.
Yeah, a little bit, a little bit.
Yeah.
VWAP, for me at least, is one of the most consistently provable
Sure.
and actionable indicators. I really like it. There are like VWAP traders in my server who
Yeah.
they'll pull like the quarterly VWAP and the year to date VWAP, and
Yeah.
they're doing the anchor VWAP. I don't do that. I really only look at daily VWAP for intraday scalps. But
Okay.
you can experiment with it. There are guys who do great work with VWAP bands and stuff like that. That's a bit outside my wheelhouse.
I think anything with volume is good because I'm a Japanese candlestick trader in classical charting. And like any Japanese candlestick signal, the strength of it's based on the volume behind it. So for me, philosophically, any method that uses volume should have some validity because it's just based on supply and demand. It's based on, market structure. We have just a little few more minutes before we wrap up. Do you want to give some type of a general idea of where you think Bitcoin is in a few months? I know that's hard to do, or maybe a broader, 30,000 view, overview of it, maybe Ethereum, whatever you want to do for the next few minutes, kind of in that lens.
Well, to answer that first question about BTC, like I
Yeah,
very much am the guy who shies away from those questions. I don't
smart,
know what I'm having for dinner this evening. I certainly don't know what
smart.
price Bitcoin will be in 12 months, right?
Why
And I
not?
think exactly, yeah, I'll just pull out my crystal ball. And
Yeah,
actually, as well as that, I don't think that that's my job. Like, I'm a
right.
trader. My job is not to predict the future. My job is to wait for information to come my way and
Oh,
then
I love it.
react based on that information.
I
So
love it.
like I have biases, and
Yeah.
I have things that I'm looking for in the charts. But like when
Hmm.
people say like, do you think Bitcoin will go to 250K this cycle? My brain just kind of shuts off because like I
Yeah. How
just
do you?
find the question so
Well,
like
how do you
it's like
define it? It's such a very.
yeah.
Yeah.
There's like I'm not an economist, I'm not a macro
Yeah.
analyst, and it just
Yeah.
feels like stuff like that. I'm very happy to put up my hand and say I don't know, And I think most traders think that they should have an answer for that, when in fact it's okay to say that you don't. I mean, like
Yeah.
I'm the guy that I get new information in the charts every day, and I'll adjust my
Yeah.
bias to fit that information, right? Strong opinions loosely held, isn't that it? So
So
that's kind of it.
let's
So
call that a let's call that a bad question by me. How about
I
this? What are like maybe a few altcoins you like that have good trends, or some of your go-to, maybe just a few altcoins that you watch that you're interested in?
Hmm. Altcoins at the moment. I'm not necessarily sure. I'm kind of waiting. I'm in a holding pattern for the vast majority. I'm just looking at all the alts in my watch list here. I'm
Yeah.
kind of in a holding pattern on alts for the moment because I think that BTC is gonna give. Well, the pullback has already happened now, but
Hmm.
I'm kind of just waiting for, like, in an ideal scenario. I think I have some drawings here. Oh yeah, like I drew this yesterday on stream.
Looks like
Very
Godzilla.
yeah, very, very messy. Maybe I can recreate it here. Like effectively, what I would love to see on BDC, let's say, like let's just even draw it here, right? Over the rest of Q3 into the end of the year. I would love to see something like this, right? Just
Hmm.
range bound price action. We get
Yeah.
clean setups, shorting the highs, longing the
Right.
lows. Easier in theory than in practice. I
Sure.
understand that,
Sure.
right? But
Sure.
corresponding with this, we get a BTC dominance dump, because that's something that really has
Mm,
been like, this is the chart of the cycle in
yeah.
many ways, because everyone's been waiting
Yeah.
for, when alt season, and meanwhile
Right. Yeah.
you're asking that question, and BTC dominance is in a 1,000-day uptrend.
It's
BTC
unbelievable.
dominance has been uptrending for 1,043 days. And
Yeah.
I know that, like, we had little mini alt runs back in like November, December last year. We had
Yeah.
a little mini alt run back in, was it May of this year, or when was that? Yeah, something like that.
Hmm.
Um, and like even now we're having a little run on alts with, this is just like a 2.8% pullback
Yeah.
on BTC dominance. But like you look at the alt run that we had in 2021, it was this move, right? It was
Mm,
altcoin dominance went from 70 something percent to 40 something
it's
percent,
crazy.
right? Now I'm not saying, like, it's people say like, oh, dominance needs to do this for alts to do this. That's
Yeah.
not really, that's like saying the thermometer needs to go down for it to be cold outside.
Yeah.
It's not really, it's a measure,
I
but
like how you
it's
put that. I like how you put that. Yeah.
yeah, it's
Right.
not it's not causation, but it's reflected. So
Yeah.
all the dominance chart is doing is it's showing altcoin weakness, or altcoin strength versus BTC weakness versus altcoins, whatever you want to. It is
Hmm.
effectively, it is showcasing the market's appetite for altcoin risk, right? That is basically it. Now, we saw in 2017, the market obviously had big appetite for altcoin risk because dominance dumped, right? We saw that in
Mm,
2021. Market had big appetite for altcoin risk because
yeah.
dominance dumped, right? Since 2022, effectively,
Hmm.
we have not had the same level of altcoin risk because the dominance has just been rising, right? Now, I know that everything's different now. We have ETF, institutional
Yeah.
involvement. We
Yeah.
have Sailor is just buying huge chunks of the BTC supply
We got meme
every.
coins too. Meme
Yeah,
coins
we have
now.
pump fund, we have altcoin
Yeah.
dilution, ticker dilution, right?
Yes.
We
Yes.
have a jaded retail class, right?
I know I'm
Guys who got
jaded. I know I'm jaded, man.
but there's capital that got burnt in
It's
2021
a
with
great call. Yeah.
Alameda, FTX,
Yeah. That's
Voyager,
sad. That was
Celsius.
really sad. That was
Yeah.
sad. Yeah.
Three Arrows Capital,
Right.
Binance FUD, Tether FUD, USDC FUD. I mean, there's a lot has
Yeah.
happened. Like Luna, a lot has happened since 2021. And I think there's a lot
Yeah.
of capital that got burnt that won't be coming back, right? We have mass
True.
extraction events, we have celebrity
Yeah.
coins, we have presidents of
Oh, I
sovereign
hate that. All
nations.
that celebrity coins, man. I hate
Yeah.
it just is what it is. But yeah, I'm with you. With
So
you
I think
100%.
there's
Yeah.
there's capital there that might not necessarily be coming back. So all
Okay.
that is to say that the
Yeah.
dominance is maybe in a different place this cycle. But I mean,
Okay.
I drew this blue squiggly line like almost a year ago. Well, not quite
Wow.
a year. Well, not quite a year ago. I drew it back at the start of this year. So call
Hmm.
it 7 months ago.
It's pretty
And I
good.
just, people were saying, we got to dump here. We got to dump here. We got to
Yeah.
dump here.
Yeah.
Everyone's been saying dominance is going to dump the whole
That's
way
right.
up. I
That's
just
right.
said it's a small sample size, but just look where we dumped from previously. And I don't know, maybe this cycle will be different, but I think that dominance comes a little bit higher into the rest of the cycle. And then if
Yeah.
we do ever get the proper, I don't even want to say it, alt season or
I
whatever
don't even
people are
like the
waiting for.
phrase. Yeah, I don't even like the phrase.
It's just, this is an important chart to be aware of. Again, it's not the cause of an alt season, but it's going to show you when it's happening. I don't want to be that guy, and I hate when people say,
Yeah.
this is it, this is the top, this is the
Yes.
chart you're fading when you're calling for that. Just wait
Yeah.
for something to happen. If you want to go really risk on altcoins, I think you just wait for some kind of shift here, right? Wait for some kind of actionable downside. Doesn't
Yes.
matter. Like, let's say we get a move like this, right? Does it really matter if you miss the first 40% of the
No.
move?
Nope.
No, because you're still catching the next 60%, right?
Yeah.
And that's the case with all these coins, right? Guys bottom catching alts, guys fading BTC,
No
whatever
good.
it is, right?
Yeah.
It's always the case.
Those sound like two very dangerous hobbies, by the way.
Yes, they do, right? But it just ties into the point I made previously about predictions versus reaction. Don't be a predictive trader, right? Don't be the knife catcher who gets bloody hands every time. Just wait for the move to happen, and then you catch it when it's already underway, right? Doesn't matter if you miss the first 20, 30, 40%. As long as you're catching the meat, you're happy.
Wow. That is fantastic advice. We should kind of start to wrap it up on that. It's been great, man. I didn't really have like a lot of questions coming in. I figured we would just flow, and I think it's been a nice, really good chat. I think we've been able to get a sense of who you are. My audience will definitely be able to get a sense of who you are. But why don't you take this opportunity to tell us about your groups, your channels, and just talk about yourself for just a little bit. Go for it. Don't be shy.
Appreciate that. Well, yeah, first and foremost, as you can see from the mirrored image behind me, Chroma Trading is my Discord community. We have about 600-700 members now, a team of almost 15 full-time traders. And yeah, it's my passion project. I've been growing it for 3 years now, and yeah, I think we're doing something pretty special in this space. So feel free to check us out on Twitter. The link is in my bio, of course. And then, yeah, I'm Follis. I'm active on Twitter, as you know. I also stream on Twitch 3 times a week. I do live trading, live technical analysis, live charting. We have a good time. I also put video content out on YouTube, on TikTok. All those links are in my Twitter profile, in my link tree. And that's about it. Yeah, man. Big respect for you, and thanks for all the work you do. And I really appreciate coming on. This is a good conversation, and you're a good guy in the space. Been paying attention to your content for a while, so keep up the good work.
Thanks, man. Appreciate you. Yeah, for sure. So, hey, everybody, this is Follis. Check him out. I'll have all your links in the description. People will be able to get in contact with you. And once again, thank you, sir.
Thanks, guys. All right, cheers. Thanks for having me on, Cheds.
You got it, brother. All right. Thank you, everybody. That was pretty cool. That was part of the long form interview series. We had a great time talking to Mr. Follis. I hope you folks learned a lot. I know that I did, and we'll keep this interview series going. But anyway, folks, really appreciate each and every one of you coming today. Make sure you check out the brand new Trading Encyclopedia playlist, 3-minute videos teaching you about trading and TA. Check out the rest of my stuff. Catch me on Bitcoin Live. Catch me on Twitter at BigCheds, and all that jazz. We'll just leave it here on Mr. Follis's page, and we'll finish up with a little bit of music, as always, and we will go from there. So anyway, folks, again, thank you so much for joining me for the latest long-form interview. Take care, everybody. Thank you.